Hello and welcome back to Black Balance Fitness TV. I'm your host, Lamitra Marat, and this is Tarot Tuesdays from Pages to Kings and Pulling All Aces. So on our last episode, we went through 2 through 10, and this time we're going to go through the court cards. So we'll be looking at the pages, knights, queens, kings, and aces. We'll look at how they relate to the zodiac and what aspects and perspectives they may provide when reading in both dark and light situations. This has been one of my longer studies where I've really gone in depth with the knowledge and information. I want to transition from zodiac to the planetary alignments. So understanding how the cards relate to the zodiac will be significant when we get into that. So I hope you're not feeling too overwhelmed yet, because we got decans, conjunctures, and trines. Oh my. But let me give you a little summary of what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to use the metaphor of an idea to explain the progression of from pages to kings, and then what it means to pull aces from your deck. So a page, if you think of a page in the sense of an idea, it would be the conception, the first thought. You know, it's very fresh energy, young energy, the spark, right? Pages also only deal with the element. They actually do not align to specific zodiac signs. It is the energy of the element in general. So the energy of fire, the energy of air, water, earth. So moving forward to the knights. The knights is the verb, the action behind the idea. Putting it into motion. These deal with fixed and mutable signs, and I will break that down as we go card through card. After that is the queens. The queens are nurturing the idea. So that would be mutable and cardinal signs. And nurturing in the sense of progress, progression of the idea. Kings develop the idea into a stable state that is being established, being, grounded, and those deal with cardinal and fixed signs, and so we can see why as we go through that. And finally, last but certainly not least, pulling all aces. Aces represent the seed of potential, a possibility, having optimism, and really the purity of the energy of each of the seeds. Aces deal with both the element and the zodiac signs as each whole group. So the element of fire and all three energies of Aries, Leo, and Sag, and so on and so forth down the list. So we're going to start with the pages. I'll give you guys an overall summary of what the energy of the pages is, and then delve into each card. So let's get to it. Into the energy of pages. Page is the prince and princess of tarot. So they represent youth. We'd say maybe teenage years. That's enthusiasm, not much focus, but lots of fascination, learning, seeing the world with fresh eyes. It's a carefree, instinctual energy, and having a childlike ability to to see the magic in the world around us. The pages can also be a card representing emerging news or new or unexpected information. So let's get into the cards. First up, we have the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands deals with the element of fire. In the upright, it can represent exploration, excitement, freedom. In reverse, it can represent a lack of direction, procrastination, and creating conflict. So it's like a childlike, almost like a petty energy, or a messy energy. Although he does have his good points, like the power of creativity, development of skills, and a desire to learn by doing. Being so passionate, but also inexperienced, can cause fear, not in the form of procrastination, but actually in the form of like a more egotistical towards your plans and goals. So yeah, that's the Page of Wands, and you can see on the card, I feel like he's sort of like peacocking a little bit. You can see he's like a young guy, but he's like overdressed, and he's really, he's looking optimistic, like he's ready to make something happen, but he obviously isn't old enough to really know what he's doing. So, but that is that fire energy, so, go, go, go. Our second card up is the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles is in the element of Earth. In the upright, he can represent ambition, desire, and diligence. But in reverse, this would be a lack of commitment, greediness, and laziness. So just like any other card, good points and bad points, there's an eagerness with this type of young earth energy. This would be starting a business or some type of training, professional training or school, interested in making a change in your life. This is wanting to change the world, wanting to make a direct impact and working towards being stable. That earth energy, you'll always find that stable, grounded personality with that. This can also be a spark of inspiration or ambition. Energy as far as health. Pentacles can be representative of health or wealth. So it can be energy and motivation towards physical or health goal, diet, something like that. But this is a small offer, very small offer, coming from a page. Moving forward to the Page of Cups. This is the element of water. In the upright, it can be a happy surprise, a dreamer, a sensitive person, sensitivity to the energies around you, to other people's feelings, so as an empathetic kind of guy. But in the reverse, this can be emotional immaturity, insecurity and disappointment. So this is like a sadness, depression. Also, if you deal with old wives' tales, the fish can also be a sign of pregnancy. So this can be a young mother, a young parent, or an unexpected pregnancy. Um, the Page of Cups is the energy of someone that is almost seeking attention, someone that is looking for a connection, either with another person or connecting spiritually, using your intuition, looking for guidance. It can also be romantic and tender and sweet. It's like a puppy love type of energy, sort of curious and gentle. New connections, new relationships, new feelings. You know, just having an open mind about all those type of emotional things. That is that Page of Cups energy. And last but certainly not least, the Page of Swords. That's the element of air. In the upright, it can represent curiosity, restlessness, mental energy. So this is that young, stay up all night, you know, team no sleep, ready to get going. But in the reverse, it can be deception, manipulation, or someone who lets their ego to do the talking, not a lot of action behind it. Being in that Swords air energy, it's very finicky. I must say, me being a Libra sun, I have actually quite a lot of air in my chart, but more water. So more water and fire than air, which is kind of weird for being a Libra, but it is what it is. So I don't really stay in that air energy too much, but it has its good points. Like it can be intellectual pursuits. The Swords, the air energy, often deals with thoughts. So it can be someone who's drawn to research, someone who's drawn to intellect, who wants to know the facts, collecting new information, and also communicating it. These are the Page of Swords is sort of a young person who has a natural motivation and a high mental aptitude. They're able to communicate easily with a lot of passion, positive energy, and good ideas. But the follow through on it isn't always there with the pages, right? Because they are such a young energy. So that is our 4 pages. And now moving into the Knights. So next up, we have the Knights of Tarot. A quick summary on the Knights. This is highly action-oriented energy. Slightly more mature than the pages. So if the pages are like preteen, teen age, we would say the Knights are more like early 20s, which we should all, most of us know from experience, is a very go, go, go type of energy. Prone to extremes and excessive feelings and behaviors on both positive and negative ends of the spectrum. So Knights reflect change, movement, action, and looking for the next best thing. They deal with fixed and mutable energy, and so we will be going through the elements and signs as we go card to card. Let's get into it. So first up, we have the Knight of Wands. This deals with fire and water energy. This is the zodiac signs of Scorpio and Sagittarius. In the upright, the Knight of Wands can represent action, adventure, and fearlessness. In the reverse, the Knight of Wands can represent anger, being impulsive, and reckless. This is the energy of act first, think later, which obviously doesn't always turn out well. the Knight of Wands can be impatient, impulsive, and rebellious, hot-tempered, but on a more positive note, is also known as a free spirit, a courageous person, very charming and full of life. We often hear the Knight of Wands described as the player of tarot, the player of the deck, being so adventurous and full of enthusiasm and energy, and also, you know, young hot guy. I mean, what do you expect, right? We'll get it more into the energies of the zodiac as we get into the planetary alignments, but being that the wand is representative of the male phallic, and the Knight of Wands representing the signs of Scorpio and Sagittarius, they have quite the reputation for the bedroom. But the Knight of Wands also, as you can see in the picture, does not have any water. There's no emotions there. So don't expect him to stay. He is on his horse and riding fast. I think that's probably how he got the reputation as the player. But moving forward, we have the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles represents earth and fire energy. These are the signs of Leo and Virgo. In the upright, this is efficiency, hard work, responsibility. But in reverse, this is laziness, obsessed with work, or working without any reward. So the Knight of Pentacles is in the extremes of health and wealth. He can be methodical and rigorous, patient and reliable, responsible, but sometimes overcommitted. He's a trustworthy guy, good provider, but has to stick to a routine. When this knight is thrown off of their game, they can really become obsessed with reaching a goal, rather than letting go and working towards something different, something more suitable, or, you know, they're not good with change and new direction. But commitment and consistency, hard work, definitely. But being a knight, knights being on the younger side, and not having much emotion, they can be, you know, extreme. Moving forward, the Knight of Cups deals with water and air energy. This is the zodiac signs of Aquarius and Pisces. In the upright, this represents following your heart, being an idealist or a hopeless romantic. In the reverse, it can be moodiness, disappointment, depression. The Knight of Cups is a charming, attractive guy, romantic and poetic, but he can also make some overly emotional decisions. He can even have the tendency to turn into like an emotional abuser, manipulator, and not the smartest guy, gotta say. Known for making heart over head decisions, which, well, I don't know. Some people might not agree with that. I'm, like I said, Libra sun, air sign, so I'm not really a heart over head type of person. I always go with my what's logical, what's rational, right? Um, but it can also represent a message, an invitation, or arrival of someone or something that will have a positive effect on you emotionally. He is one of the knights that, actually the only knight that has actual water in his background, which represents emotions and feelings. All the other knights do not have, or have very little. The Knight of Cups can also represent wisdom that comes from dreams or intuition. And you know, the knights, though, we also have to remember that while he's so young and so sweet, even with his armor being decorated in beautiful red roses and such, he is a knight. That young energy is non-committal. So this isn't someone who's gonna stay. As you can see, the knights are on their horses and ready to ride. These are not stable, grounded energies. These are the get up and go energies here with the knight. So last but not least, we have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is the elements of air and earth, representing Taurus and Gemini. The Knight of Swords represents action, impulsiveness, and defending your beliefs. All in the positive aspect, of course. In the negative aspects, in reverse, we would say this person has no direction, and a disregard for consequences, being even unpredictable, having low compassion for others. The Knight of Swords, it's a very cutting energy, but it's more in thought than actual physical or communication wise. It can represent a new project or idea, or a sudden burst of energy to take action to overcome problems, challenges. The Knight of Swords is someone who moves with strong intent, with sort of a disregard for any risk or danger. Ambition, determination, strength is what a Knight of Swords would rely on, but being blind to the consequences of their actions could have a negative effect, especially if that person neglects the understanding of, how their actions may create adverse consequences. But that can also be helpful if you're in a situation you may need to be fast thinking and decisive. So, like I said, always the light and the dark. So that is our knights of the round table there. And next we'll be moving into that queen energy. So stay tuned.